You think you can spot a psychopath? Think again. They're not the movie serial killer. They're the charming coworker, the attentive new friend, or the perfect partner. Most people miss these 5 crucial signs until it's already too late. And by then, the damage to your life, reputation, and mental health is done. Today, I'll show you what psychologists and criminal profilers actually look for. The subtle but unmistakable cues that separate true psychopaths from merely difficult people. Let's start with the most dangerous sign, something that feels wonderful until you learn its real purpose. Sign 1. Predatory charm. The first red flag is weaponized charm. This isn't sincere warmth. It's a calculated charisma, polished and deployed strategically instead of arising naturally. Unlike ordinary friendliness, psychopathic charm feels almost tailor-made for you. Perfectly timed compliments, mirror image interests, and uncanny to say exactly what you want to hear. It can switch on or off depending on the audience and the goal. Dr. Robert Hare, creator of the PCLR used by the FBI, calls this superficial charm one of the clearest early warning signs. It's not a personality quirk. It's a hunting tool. I once watched a colleague flawlessly mimic everyone's values in speech, then vanish into cold, clinical behavior when no valuable witness was around. Watch for charm that disappears in private or only shows up when they need something. That's not charisma, it's predation. Sign 2. Emotional emptiness. The second sign shows up in their emotions, or the alarming lack of them. Psychopaths have a profound deficit in experiencing normal feelings, especially fear, empathy, and remorse. Neuroscience work from the University of Wisconsin finds that their brains process emotional stimuli differently, with reduced activity in regions that handle emotion. That looks like inappropriate reactions, a faint smile at tragic news, explosive rage over trivial slights, or telling traumatic stories with eerie detachment. Clinicians call it the dead eyes moment, when the emotional mask slips and you see no genuine feeling behind the performance. This isn't reserve or stoicism. It's a neurological inability to feel emotions the way others do. Their expressions are learned scripts, not lived experiences. Sign 3. Strategic victimhood. The third marker lives in their stories, narratives designed to weaponize your compassion. Have you felt compelled to protect someone whose victim tale later turned out suspicious? That's the pattern. Psychopaths use tactical victimhood, elaborate accounts of persecution crafted to earn sympathy, loyalty, and resources. Unlike real victims, these stories are assembled with strategic precision. Research from Oxford's Experimental Psychology Department shows psychopaths are experts at creating emotionally powerful narratives that bypass rational skepticism. Their story usually follows a formula. They were exceptional. Others were jealous. They were betrayed despite their goodness, and now they need help. Small inconsistencies surface on inspection, but the emotional pull is so strong that questioning them feels wrong. These narratives are engineered to extract sympathy, shut down critical thought, and secure special treatment. It's not genuine suffering. It's manipulation. Sign 4. Parasitic lifestyle. The fourth sign reveals itself in relationships, a parasitic pattern of resource extraction. Psychopaths see people as means to an end, money, housing, status, connections, or emotional supply, and give little in return. Forensic psychology research at the University of British Columbia shows they target people based on the assets they want, building relationships specifically to access those assets. What they appear to offer usually comes with hidden costs and future leverage. A key warning: they begin isolating you from anyone who might recognize the pattern. They systematically separate you from friends or family who could expose them. This isn't a temporary rough patch. It's a lifelong strategy of calculated exploitation. Sign 5. Calculated destruction. The fifth and most disturbing sign emerges once they've gained control. Psychopaths sometimes engage in recreational destruction, deliberately harming others for minimal gain or for the sheer pleasure of causing pain. Unlike ordinary conflict, Their harm is planned and often seemingly purposeless. Harvard research shows that some psychopaths experience genuine reward when witnessing others' distress. The brain's reward centers light up. They foment fights, spread vicious rumors, or reveal secrets with surgical timing to inflict maximum damage. They test boundaries with small cruelties to see what you'll tolerate before escalating. Most chillingly, they often target the most vulnerable: children, animals, the elderly, people already struggling. Not for gain, but because defenseless victims produce suffering with fewer consequences. This isn't mere insensitivity. It's a neurological reward response to causing pain. How to escape safely. Now that you know the 5 signs, here's how to get out without making things worse. The most effective method psychologists recommend is the gray rock strategy. Become utterly boring and unresponsive so the psychopath loses interest and moves on. Direct confrontation is dangerous. Research shows psychopaths respond to challenges with escalating aggression and deliberate revenge. Instead, gradually reduce your emotional availability. Share as little as possible about your life. Be predictable, unexciting, and emotionally flat. Don't show fear, anger, or distress. Those emotions feed them. At the same time, document everything, secure your essentials, and quietly build a support network without their knowledge. The key fact: psychopaths require emotional engagement, positive or negative. Give them neither, and they'll often abandon you. Why normal conflict resolution fails. Everything you learned about resolving relationship problems often makes things worse with a psychopath. Appeals to empathy fail because they can't feel it. Appeals to fairness fail because they view exploitation as entitlement. Heart-to-heart talks hand them ammunition about your vulnerabilities. Boundaries become a challenge they feel compelled to break. Neuropsychological research from the University of Montreal shows psychopaths process social interactions through different brain systems. They literally can't respond to the emotional or moral appeals we use. Therapy or mediation frequently backfires because they manipulate the mediator and learn which approaches affect you most. This isn't a communication breakdown. It's a fundamental neurological difference. Recovery. Recovering from psychopathic manipulation is different from other trauma. It requires rebuilding trust in your own perceptions. Psychopaths create what Harvard trauma specialists call coercive control. They dismantle your reality testing until you doubt your experiences and judgment. Recovery begins with validation. Confirming your experience was real and your reactions normal. And often requires therapy with clinicians experienced in psychopathic abuse. Crucially, the powerful bond you felt was driven by intermittent reinforcement. A neurochemical, addiction-like attachment that mimics love but isn't the same. With the right support, survivors usually have a clarity moment when the psychopath's behavior finally becomes transparent instead of confusing. The first step toward full recovery. Can psychopaths change? The hard truth. The scientific consensus is bleak. Psychopathy involves structural and functional brain differences in areas that govern empathy, moral reasoning, and emotional processing. A comprehensive 30-year study from the University of California, tracking psychopathic individuals through treatment programs, found a troubling result. Therapy sometimes made them more effective manipulators. They learned the language of emotions without the internal experience. Current ethical clinical approaches focus on risk management and harm reduction, not trying to manufacture empathy where the neurological hardware appears absent. This isn't pessimism. It's the current scientific understanding. Final takeaway. Remember the 5 signs: weaponized charm, emotional emptiness, strategic victimhood, resource extraction, and recreational destruction. Together, they form a pattern that separates true psychopaths from merely difficult people. The key insight: psychopaths aren't just making different choices. They're operating with different neurological equipment. Their behavior is predatory, not personal. Knowledge is your best defense. Spot these research-validated patterns early, and you can avoid becoming entangled with someone who is neurologically incapable of genuine care. If you've already been manipulated, know this: your inability to understand their behavior wasn't naivety. It was your healthy brain trying to make sense of someone wired very differently. The most reliable protection isn't becoming distrustful of everyone. It's becoming alert to the specific signs that signal real danger. Trust your instincts when something feels wrong. Document everything. Prioritize your safety over their feelings, and put your well-being first.